Creating a Bell mech is pretty hard. You need research centers and research into developing. You need factories of engineers in them to actually build the damn thing, and resources too. Throughout Battletech history, a lot of these places were destroyed, forever lost, as even the biggest nations are unable to rebuild them. To this, the pirate cluster of Havenstar said, "Our challenge accepted." Hello and welcome back to this side of the internet. Today, we'll do a little check-in on the first non-state built mech, the Brigand. The pirate life is hard. You gotta steal for a living, and when you do it, everybody knows. So eventually entire militaries will get involved because ships and entire settlements are pretty hard to not notice when they're missing or damaged. Income is not entirely stable, and basic needs as well, really. Acquiring more weapons and mechs is also pretty hard. You can't really do it through official channels for obvious reasons, and even if you manage to scavenge one as battlefield loot, it's not guaranteed that you will be able to find parts to put it back together again. Yeah, that's the black market, but those places aren't entirely reliable, and they probably mark up the prices significantly to the point where it's not really viable for long term. So, Pirate Queen Paula, Lady Death, Traveline got thinking. How can her boys continue their free life without getting shafted by bigger powers? No one knows what gave her the idea, but she came up with one. She established Vengeance Incorporated, the first ever pirate-run arms company, with initial funding and equipment given by another pirate band, the Tortuga Fusiliers, and allegedly some assistance from the Word of Blake. Lady Death put together a factory, in quotation marks, in the repair base of a spaceport. It took the newly established company about a decade, but eventually they created what they are most known for, the LDT-1 Brigand. The Brigand is built upon a contraband light endosteel chassis that weighs around 25 tons. Its communications and targeting are also from the same line of products. The mech is covered in 4 tons of the Vengeance-developed Haven Scent standard armor. Powering it is the GM150 engine that gives the mech a top speed of 97 km per hour, it's pretty quick, and has 10 double heat sinks to cool it down. It also comes with 6 contraband jump jets, giving 180 meters of jumping distance. It looks pretty conventional. All the jump jets seem to concentrate around the legs. This might explain the nimble jumper quirk that, from my understanding, allows you to choose how you want to get to your location. So instead of jumping straight to it, you can do a zigzag, I think. I can't test this in Mega Mech, so I don't know if I'm correct or not. But anyway, it's got that quirk. There looks to be 4 standard places for weapons, 2 on each arm and torso sides. Not entirely sure what's going on the head there. Maybe that's heatsink? The first production model of the Brigand, the LDT-1, was introduced in 3065. The weapon's loadout is pretty simple. It comes with 2 diverse optics ER mediums on the arms and 2 Satel precision line medium pulses on both sides of the torso. It costs around 2.2 million. The first upgrade came a year later, the LDT-X1. This one gives the mech a higher damage output by replacing the 2 medium pulses with normal mediums and adding an additional 2 on the arms. This one costs 2.3 million. In the same year, LDT-X2 was created. The X2 further increased the firepower of the mech, particularly at close range. The 2 pulses were removed and 4 Rocket 15s were installed, 2 on each arm. The X2 costs around 2.2 million. 9 years later, the X3 debuted. The GM150 is on an XL model, and the armor was increased by half a ton. This one is a sniper variant, as all the lasers were replaced with 2 Moscovia light PPCs on each arm and 2 flame shot flamers on the torso. These weapons were gained by raiding, so I think it's safe to presume that the X3 is a limited model, so it's probably pretty rare. If you found one, it would cost you 3.2 million. A year later, during the Filtveld Coalition's efforts to destroy Vengeance Incorporated, a bunch of prototypes were deployed to fend them off. The first prototype is the LDT-XPR-1. The prototypes seem to use the X3 as a base because the engine is an XL model, but instead of half a ton of extra armor, it has 1.5 tons of extra armor. It has an SRM-4, 25 shots at the right arm, and 2 X-Pulses mediums on both torso. X-Pulse is basically ER Pulse, extended range pulse. If it entered production, it would have cost 3.2 million. The next prototype is the LDT XPR2. This one has 5 mediums, 2 on the arms, 2 on torso, and 1 on the head. It also comes with an Angel ECM, which is a more potent version of Guardian. If mass produced, it would have cost 4 million. The XPR3 is the melee version, as it carries a mace in its right arm. While charging in for an attack, it can fire its 3 mediums, 1 in the head, 1 in the left torso, and 1 on the left arm to soften up its target. This one is also 3.2 million. The fourth prototype is a pretty basic one. It swaps out every weapon for 4 mediums on each arm and torsos. It does come with improved jump jets, but the distance seem to be the same, at least according to Megamech. This one is 3.4 million. And the final prototype they deployed is the XPR5. The engine has a smaller power rate now at 125, which reduces top speed to 86 km per hour. The gyro has been swapped out from the XL model, extra light, so it's lighter but bulkier. The biggest difference of this prototype is the use of a composite chassis. A composite chassis is as light as endo steel, but it's not that strong. In fact, if you get hit, like internally, you get double damage. Weapons are the same as the fourth prototype, with 1 in the head, 1 right arm, and 2 in the left arm. This one is 3.8 million. 2 years later, the X4 debuted. The chassis is now endo steel. The engine is now light 150, which puts the speed back up to 97 kilometers, and the armor is increased to 5 tons. It also comes with TSM, triple strength myamine. Now, myamine fiber is a muscle of a mech, and this system makes the mech faster and also hit harder when it reaches a certain heat level. For weapons, it carries 3 ER mediums on the left arm, left torso, and right torso, and a light PPC on the right arm. I guess they managed to get or be able to produce a steady supply of light PPCs if they're gonna make a new model with another light PPC on it, I guess. Anyway, this one costs 3.4 million. And the most recent model is the LDT5 that debuted in 3083. This one is directly influenced by the earlier prototypes as it incorporates aspects of each. The engine is an XL Omni 175 that increases the top speed to 118 km per hour. It also has an additional jump jet that increases the distance to 210 meters, and the armor gets an additional half a ton over the 4X. The weapons are a mace on the right arm and 3 contraband medium lasers on all 3 torso locations. This new design comes with extra quirks, the easy to maintain quirk and the easy to pilot quirk. Sarna and Megamech haven't given a damn thing to its new quirk yet. This model costs 3.4 million. There's only one notable pilot for the Brigand, and his name is Polmark Lysander Anabasis. He's the son of Nexamander Anabasis, who mysteriously died. Lysander took over command of the Tortugan Phalanx, a pirate group. He is noted to be not as a good tactician as his father, but his preferred tactic of overwhelming numbers works well against his preferred targets, lowly defended periphery worlds. The Brigand is a marvel of engineering. It's not the biggest or the strongest, but the fact that a bunch of goons managed to turn a pile of scrap really into an entire line of mechs is nothing short of impressive, really. The entire construction of the mech is reported to be from stolen parts or sourced from the black market. I think this may be true for the early models, for the early years, but I think now it's safe to assume that, since they've had like a couple decades of experience now, and probably a lot of capital as well from selling this thing, they can, make their own stuff now. Source their own resource, put them together as a brigand, I guess. That's a full brigand. The use of energy weapons for its design is also deliberate. Aside from the X2 model, all the brigands use energy weapons so they don't have to bother with stealing ammo, buying them, or diverting production line to produce that. So this keeps logistical needs pretty low. They thought this through. As far as I can find, no other nations or factions use a brigand. This thing's exclusively a pirate thing. Maybe mercenaries are able to buy them directly from Vengeance? Probably need to have, good relationship with them in the first place, though. Otherwise, probably would be battlefield scavenge, black market purchase, or like a second-hand market purchase. A pretty notable engagement involving the brigand is the aforementioned attack on Vengeance Incorporated on Tortuga Prime. In order to stop the multiple raids that the Filvet coalition was suffering under the hands of these pirates, they launched a campaign to destroy their capabilities to produce mechs. The coalition sent two forces, their first Filvet citizens militia and the mercenary unit, the Thumpers. This operation did not go too well. The citizens militia was subjected to horrendous chemical attacks while they were trying to secure a landing zone for the Thumpers. They eventually managed to secure one, and the Thumpers immediately set out towards the capital of the planet. The Thumpers eventually found a vengeance assembly plant. The prototype brigands were in there, and they were immediately deployed to protect the plant. The Thumpers were an assault weight force, but the tight city environment favored the small and nimble brigands. The pirates also brought in a tank force to help with the defense. The combined pirate force managed to push off the Thumpers, but not before they were able to destroy some warehouses containing brigand production lines. Not gonna lie, this was an emergency video. This week's video was supposed to be a Gundam one, but I had to read, and I still have to, I still need to read like hundreds of chapters of multiple mangas to get certain information. The wiki does not tell you everything. They miss something. There are some things that they miss or they just don't mention, okay? So hopefully, you know, putting this one up, you know, giving me another week to read through all stuff, should be enough time for me to get all the information I need that I'll be happy with. Should be enough time. I hope so. I really do. But anyway, the Brigand. I've never personally used it, I think, but I sure as hell like the concept. A mech that was built by, you know, they're not really regular people, but you know, they're not like a state or like a big company. You know, it's a proper mech. It's not like a scrap together Franken mech. No, it's a proper mech. That's not like using primitive or industrial gear stuff. It uses pretty advanced stuff, really, endosteel and all that stuff. So yeah, kudos to those pirates, I would say, though I would not want to meet them. This sets a precedent, though. If a bunch of pirates can build up a factory, this also means a bunch of mercenaries can do that too, right? So this means I can try to have my mercenary unit, Diana's Bogateers, build a factory of some sort so that when the gladiator goes extinct, they can still operate them because they have a factory producing the parts that allow them to keep operating gladiators. Are there proper rules for this? Or am I just gonna have to someone make it work in my HQ? I don't know. It doesn't have to be a full assembly line, just something capable of producing parts. This is a great cannon. I like to keep my made-up stuff cannon friendly. But anyway, that's been that. I was reminded of this during a stream when I faced the Corsair in MechWarrior 5, and I thought I could do a quick one of this. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, be sure to like and subscribe. It would help me a lot. Would appreciate it. I'm focusing entirely on lore stuff now. Maybe a gaming video once in a while. I still need to finish my War Thunder Simp Tour. I have a Discord if you want to join that and make that place a lot more live than it is right now. And also Twitch, though I do multi-streams, so it's not a requirement. Though I would prefer you go there. But yeah, that's been that. That's been me. Until then, take care. And I'll see you next time. See ya. Bye-bye.